Hello all, this is Henrik from Softube. We're at Music Production Expo in London and I would like to present to you our Console One system. There it is. It's part hardware and part software. It's an integrated hardware and software mixer. You use it together with your DAW. So if I'm shut the software window, you will see that I'm using Pro Tools. But it works just as well with any major DAW, Logic, Ableton Live, Cubase, Nuendo, Presonus Studio One, on Mac, on PC as well. The way you use it is that you insert the plugin called Console One on all tracks of your DAW, and that routes the sound over to the Console One system. So what you see down here is the meter bridge for the Console One. You see 20 tracks at the time. If you have larger sessions, there is a button on the hardware called Page Up. You can simply push that a couple of times and you can see you can have unlimited track count. The track count is only limited by the computer's CPU. But let me page down to the 20 tracks we saw here at first. These 20 tracks correspond to the 20 track selector buttons here. So the workflow of Console One is, oh, I hear a problem with the piano on track 11. I'll select track 11 and I'll start fixing the problem by tweaking the equalizer or perhaps adding some compression or taking it away. I hear a problem with the kick drum, I select the kick drum and I start fixing the problem. I can use 2 hands, that's 100% more hands compared to working with a mouse. So that is very much the workflow of Console One. Select a track, adjust the settings, select another track, adjust the settings.
So like a channel switch, effectively.
It's like a channel script, but we also think of it as a mixer because you have access to all your tracks at once. So the only difference from a mixer is that you don't actually have all the tracks with individual knobs, but it's more like a live mixer in that sense that you select the track and then you have a fat channel with EQ, compression and all that. At any time you go back to your DAW, you simply shut the Console One window, go back to your DAW, use the mouse, edit your tracks, use other plugins. You can still use your Waves or UAD plugins or whatever you have, no problem. It doesn't take anything away, but it forms a centerpiece, like a mixer. That's why we call it a mixer.
So you're putting a plugin across every track.
Yes.
Is there a way that, I mean, obviously that's going to run into a DSP resource limitation?
Actually no, because by default all the sections of Console One will be turned off. So it's virtually no CPU in its default state. It only starts taking CPU when you add in the compressor, the EQ and the distortion and all that. So it's not too bad, and it doesn't take more CPU than you would expect from any decent plugin.
So there's a lot of LEDs on this.
There is, yes. You don't have to use the screen if you don't want to, because as you can see the LEDs, they follow the knob settings here. So if you prefer to work without the window and see as little as possible, some people do that, and you can do it this way. And of course it follows the track you have selected.
So it works with your channel script. I mean, is there more than one channel script? I mean, what's the...
Yes, well, I never came to that, because what you get with the purchase, included in the purchase, is our model of the SSL 4000E console, a very classic, famous console, and it is for a reason. So what you get with the package is the equalizer remodel of the SSL, you get the compressor, you get the distortion you would get from overdriving a 4K channel, you have the gate, you have a high cut and low cut filters, and then we also added a little thing of our own, which is not part of the SSL. You control it with these knobs here. It's the transient shaper, so you can sharpen or soften the transient, or you can shorten or lengthen the sustain of the sound. Very effective on percussive sounds and acoustic guitars and things like that. But yes, you're absolutely right. We just released another channel that you can buy separately for the Console One system. It's also an SSL. I'll bring it up on this. The way you do it is just hold shift, press strip, and then you can see that now you have the selection of 2. So here's the SSL XL 9000K series console. Pressing OK brings it up. So now I have the 9K on this track only.
All right, so it's per channel.
It's per channel, and you can mix and match the different sections as well. So for example, if you want to use the 9K for the entire channel, but on the compressor you would like to have the SL4K, you can just call up a list of the compressors, the soft tube compressors you have installed on the system, and pick the 4K that came with the system. So now you have that on the compressor, but everything else is the 9K.
That's neat.
Yeah, it is.
Is there any way that it will control other people's software as well? I mean, because obviously
Not for the time being. Not for the time being. It's only for controlling soft tube plugins, and it's kind of a thing on the side. It's not really intended to be a generic plugin controller. It's intended to be a mixer that is a centerpiece for your workflow. And then we added semi-reluctantly. We added the possibility of also controlling other soft tube plugins. And the reason we were semi-reluctant about it is that sure, some plugins will map up perfectly, but a big part of the idea with Console One is that the functions are screen printed on. This should always be controlling the low gain on the EQ. This should always be controlling the low mid gain. You should never be questioning what does this knob do right now. And when you load some plugins that sort of have a different set of controls, it's a deviation from that philosophy. But if you don't want to do it, you can just stick to the SSL channels. There will be more channels. People are asking.
So is this designed purely as an SSL channel controller, or could you have designed other channels that will map to your controller
Yes.
perfectly?
Yes, and there will be more in the future. People are asking us for the famous classic British N consoles and the famous classic American A consoles, and who are we to say no?
And do you SL 9000 has just come out, right?
Yes, just the day before yesterday.
And what format do the plugins come in?
VST, Audio Unit, AAX, Mac and PC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.